LifeWithLisa343. Life with Lisa 343. Just hit subscribe. I know you feel the vibe.
How y'all doing? It's your boy Snugs, and welcome to Snugs Kitchen. It's my second edition. Today I'll be making lasagna. I'm making beef lasagna. I will add some lamb or other stuff in it. It'd be too technical, so I want to make a basic lasagna using ground beef, 70% loin, 30% fat. I don't want it to be too fatty, so I'm using 70-30 ground beef, and I'm also cooking something. If you go in the Spanish stores, the Puerto Rican stores, however else you call it, whatever else you name it, you'll see pastelillos. And what they are is they're a sheet that has meat wrapped in it. It's folded like this, and it's pressed all around in the fancy thing. I'm gonna make them also to go with the lasagna. Now, as far as the lasagna is concerned, a lot of people buy lasagna and they forget that lasagna is a blueprint of what your lasagna is, so when you cut it, it can stack up. So a lot of people think that you must need a whole lasagna strip. That's how your lasagna stick together. If you take your tongs and you start moving around the spaghetti and you notice there's 4 or 5 of them lumped together, that's because you didn't put them in the water right. You want to take your lasagna and break it right there, meaning like 1/3 of the way, leave a long strip. This is so you can have measurements inside the pan when you make it. Now I got those baking over there. I'll do the last thing I showed y'all in the video. You don't have to see it. I just have to tell you. You will put your consideration worth of salt in it. You'll take some oil. Use a cat foil. Put it in there. That's all you need. Now, for the people who also like the ingredients part of it, let me show you what I'm using. I'm using Italian sauce, garlic pepper. For my wife, I'm using lemon pepper with no seasoning in it, just plain lemon pepper. I'm also using crushed red peppers for my pastelillos that I want separate. I'll show you how to separate them. I'm using feta blend, maybe 5 pounds of it. Italian sausage will be prevalent for it. You notice that it's not sausage, it has no casing, it's separate. My wife doesn't like tomato sauce that has ingredients or salts in it, so this is just a pasta sauce. It has nothing but the meat ingredients in it. You can add your own. This is perfect for that. 2 sticks of butter. These are casings for egg rolls, but they're so thin, they're perfect for using. Just boil the noodles, and as you see, sometimes they will get stuck together. This is the purpose of putting them in the size that they are. This is the very thing, the only thing that you have to watch. Everything else, you could pretty much go at your own leniency. In this pan, I would use a little bit of Italian sausage seasoning, just to give it that little green orchard taste. Garlic powder. You don't have to necessarily measure that. And the lemon pepper. I'm gonna use the open end because you must see it in here, because most of this stuff in here was dissolved with the water, so don't be stingy. The pepper and the red garlic sauce, I'm not gonna use for that. What I'm gonna do is, I'll show y'all. I pulled a little I poured a little olive oil in it. You see this? This is all clear. I used a fork, not a spoon, so you see all the separation of the ingredients that I put in. You can use 2 packs like this. Remember, 70-30. Or you can use a 5-pound, pack of ground beef. And one thing that you never want to do when making ground beef, you never want to not have enough meat in it. Because you're dealing with sauces, you're dealing with noodles, you're dealing with cheese. You never want to not have, so if I could have any ingredient that I would have the most of, it would be actually the meat. I place my stove on, completely high, and I will actually add 2/3 cups of water and absolutely let that do what it do. Okay, so this is for the Pastelillos. Now, we're using Italian sausage. The only difference between this Italian sausage, it doesn't have casing. It's like ground beef. All right? So that's what you want to use. We're going to use 2 pounds of that. We're going to put it in a medium-sized pan. We drizzle a little oil on. There's no measurement for that. A little garlic, because everything else we're gonna do. A little salt. This is sea salt. Once again, if somebody in your family has a magic seasoning or something that they love, you can incorporate it. Lemon pepper as usual. Once again, I use the pour part. I use 2/3 of water. Now I use 1/3. Put it in, let it go. About this time, your noodles should be boiling. Please take your time and make sure that they are not stuck together. When you see that golden part, that means they are done. We don't want none of this grease. So this is what we do. We pour the whole thing in a strainer. Which I know some people might be saying is totally stupid. Pour the whole thing in a strainer, let it sit there for 5 minutes. People are saying cheese. How can I say it without being offensive? Me and my wife love cheese. So you don't want to come here if you don't like cheese. Because everything we eat, cereal, we put cheese in cereal. So, you notice I got an industrial bag because this is what we're going to do. But I don't want you to see this bag and think, because I got this big bag, I'm just going to use anything. So I'm going to show you how to measure it, whereas though you won't indulge in your own unnecessary desires. We got a 12-ounce bowl. If you don't know what a 12-ounce bowl is, you got bowls. It might not be this fancy like hers, but you got a 12-ounce bowl you feed your kids. You're trying to say that cereal. So you know what a 12-ounce bowl is. Then you have a 16-ounce bowl. This is like for people who come over your house you really don't like. So you give them cereal, stuff in there. Then you have your 20-ounce bowl for you to eat cereal, watch your shows at night. It's your favorite cereal, so you're going to be eating as much as you want to. Yeah. So notice 12, 16, 20. The 12-ounce bowl, you put cheese in it. You put cheese in this 12-ounce bowl. And believe me, this might be too much. But this is the cheese that you would use for that. For the Pastelillos. So, we have one. Now, we know a very little bit of meat is efficient. Just that little bit. You make it. You fold it over. You bring all of these sides to even. But you must do something else. You make all these sides even. what you do is you tuck this part in. And don't worry about it looking ugly, because you're about to do something else that's going to make it look really, really good after it's done. You get that? Now, once you get that, you'll take a metal fork. Look really closely. All I'm doing is doing this. I'll turn it to the other side. Same thing. That's what you do. Now, for the sake of time, we already had some of them made. Let's go to the next step. Now, we had those noodles sitting in this bowl, this pot. We're going to drain them now. And when I told y'all earlier that sometimes people over-exaggerate with noodles because they don't understand how the process works, I would like y'all to know that this is only one pack of noodles. Lasagna noodles. Look at that. I know a lot of people might not have one of these, but if you do, you can use an unused paintbrush, a horse brush, anything. What you do is you put some oil in there and you act like you're painting, and you put it on all other sides. And just like painting, you want to make sure that all the sides resemble the other ones. Now what you want to do is, this is hot once again. You might want to let it cool off. I'm not saying my hands are used to it. My hands are used to getting burnt. So I'm shaping it. Then you notice all of my shapes don't match. That's why I told you to cut it before. Your shapes do not have to match. Now, because this is the bottom, we'll make 2 layers. Every other layer after that only need 1. And you're gonna be like, yo, there's no way this guy only used 1 pack of noodles. Yes, I did. Now, when you have that there, all your sides of oil, you have 2 cans of paste. You want to use half a can each layer. And you take that same brush that you use to pan it, very simple, and you coat it. Now, the pan of ground beef. What I do is simple. These ingredients is already hot, so whatever cheese you put on there is going to be melted. So you take that 20-ounce bowl that I told you, and just like that, you want to use at least half. Maybe a little more. I don't want those brown spots showing. And just like before. I must warn you, my hands are used to cooking. If this is too hot, please do not try to do it like I'm doing it. And this is what you call your seal. They're gonna have these ridges on the noodles. You want to place them all the way to the end. Everywhere on the pan. I want people to understand. These are from one pack. Look how many noodles I gotta throw away. So you buying 3 or 4 packs for lasagna, you wasted your time. Beautiful casing when you see someone make this. It's because they have made this layer and now they're just basically making a cheese surface. Take this unused cheese. Take this cheese that we didn't even use. And there you have it. The uncooked lasagna, which will let you see, put on 350 for 25 minutes. It should be absolutely done. We'll show y'all. And ladies and gentlemen, for the grand finale, I wanted to make sure y'all understand how fast I put these things in and how fast I take them out. A lot of times with this, y'all be worrying about the meat that's made inside. You need to cook the meat that's inside first. Therefore, all you gotta do is cook the outside, which I did, but let me show you. Now, those who don't know about grease will talk to you. You don't have to figure out what grease is gonna do. It will talk to you. In the moment that grease sounds like something you should keep your hand away from, that means it's hot. On the edges, it's changing, but the color in the middle is not. When you do this and it's all lingly, and it start bending, it ain't ready. It ain't ready. Pick this one up from the end and flip it. There you go. The whole time I've been talking to you, it's been about 2 minutes. About 3 to 4 minutes, these are already done, believe it or not. And when they dry, they're gonna get crunchy. It's gonna be the most amazing little hand food you possibly can eat. You see, voila. What you want after you finish is that crust. Okay, you can do this too, but you can also do this too. Just like a pizza. Just like a pizza. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a lovely show. But remember, same place, same time. Come on, join us.